Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner, and once again in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Cardfight Vanguard OCG format for a little bit via some tournament results I was able to put onto my blog, and we're going to be going over that and taking a look at some deck lists. Only one tournament has come since the release of Extra Booster 2, so this will be a considerably shorter video. However, I've had the time to actually spruce up things a little bit, at least for this post. So link to the blog will be down below, and if you want to check these out in greater detail, you can go ahead. So, alright, only one tournament to report, but it is the first Tokai VG off, which is a standard solo event of 72 players, so the rare non-team format, and it was held as a 4 rounds of Swiss and round robin for the top 5. Interesting. And then our first place deck was OTT, second Spikes, third Grand Blue, fourth Dimension Blaze, and fifth Royal Paladin. With our clan distribution as 12 Grand Blue, 11 Aqua Force, 11 Oracle Think Tank, 10 DP, 8 Tachi, 7 Royal Paladin, 6 Spike Brothers, 3 Kagero, 2 Mega Colony, and 2 Nova Grappler. Very interesting numbers regarding these decks. Like no, we'll get to that in a second. Nova Grappler, Mega Colony having the lowest representation makes sense. Those are the two worst clans in the game. Unfortunately for the case of Mega Colony, as they don't really do anything that well. And then Kagero with the third lowest turnout. This one surprises me because I don't think the deck actually got worse with the release of these sets. Obviously, it versus Aquaforce should be, I think, a good matchup for it. And I don't know how it versus Dimension Police goes, but I think the whole thing about Dimension Police is that, at least from a little bit I was able to gain from other people, is that if you don't see Great Dayusha early enough or at all, you're not playing a good force deck compared to some of the other ones, so it's a bit on the high rolly side in that sense. But still, only 3 Kagero. I mean, it's no surprise they weren't able to get into the top 5 because of the low representation, but Jesus Christ. I'm wondering maybe if just a good bulk of the Kagero players decide to just jump over to some of the other clans to play around with them, because this is the first week of the new set, therefore, Shiny Syndrome is definitely in full swing here, which is why we have a high amount of Grand Blue players. I knew Aquas would see a good representation because that's a popular clan, same for Dimension Police, but Grand Blue is the most played deck. That one is quite a pleasant surprise. So no surprise that Grand Blue and Dimension Police were able to get in because of their numbers, but Aquaforce didn't break in spite of their representation. In fact, what is it? Royal Paladin had about 4. Okay, only 4 left, so not half amount of Aquas, but still, Royal Paladin had less numbers than Aquas, but they were able to get in. So I don't know what's going on with Aquas just yet. Maybe people just haven't been able to find the optimal list yet. That's definitely a thing. It took a while for Nova Grappler to find their way in this format, so it's no surprise that Aquaforce is not an easy, oh, we just play it this way and we're good, like Tachikaze is. Tachikaze didn't get into the top 5, though. That's a bit of a surprise, as that deck's been usually topping just as much as some of the other ones. Maybe. But then again, Nexus of Night did a pretty good, format breakdown. Granted, they were counting, every tournament, including the ones that don't matter, so Mega Colony may have more tops than Tachikaze according to their stats, but it was, in regards to tournaments that people actually care about, Mega Colony only has 2 tops as opposed to Tachikaze's many more. But in any case, this tournament, I don't know if this is going to be one of the ones that people care about, but for the sake of getting an idea of what people are doing with their decks, we're still going to take a look at it. So, our first place Oracle Think Tank list is actually pretty standard. It's the 3 Deer build, so it runs less copies of your grade 2s. You got your 4 Promised Daughter, and then your 3 Mimi, and your 2 Sotorihime. So, 9 grade 2s. It's your 9 grade 2s, but a heavier amount of grade 3s with Deer, so I guess the idea is you're trying to get to the point where you can Deer your opponent twice. It's also running 2 copies of Mizuno Hime as your 14 booster for your Vanguard, and nothing else is really that notable here. It's Oracle Think Tank, we kind of know what the deck does at this point. Second place, Spike Brothers. I actually don't know how optimized this is or not, but I'm going to assume it's pretty standard for Spikes. I mean, the deck's been topping pretty consistently since the release of the Extra Booster 1, so I'm not really going to question this one. And then we're also going to take a look at the 5th place Royal Paladin deck before the other two, because it's a pretty standard Alfred Soul Saver list. except this guy was able to get his deck completely maxed out. Like, my god, SVRs, SP, no, are the trial deck full arts SPs? The signed SPs, and then he's got signed Aichi and signed trial deck gift markers. Holy shit. But yeah, standard row paladin list. Alright, third place, Grand Blue. You guys know that this is the one I'm excited to talk about, as it's pretty similar to like what I was thinking of testing. The only real differences between my list and his is that my grade 1 lineup is much different from his, and he's running a smaller amount of grade 3s. I decided to cut Night Mist down to 3 and focus on running 9 grade 3s, but he decided to have a higher amount of grade 2s. Maybe he's trying to play more early game focused, who knows. But in any case, 4 Baskirk, 2 Negro Breach, 1 Undead Dragon, and 1 Franger. The backup grade 3s are the interesting case, because I figured you'd be seeing more copies of Undead Dragon than Negro Breach, but maybe the guy just felt that Undead Dragon at multiple copies clumps, because not being able to normal call it from hand can be a hindrance, so it's just kind of sitting there doing nothing. Where at least Breach, if you have to, you can slam it down and it's a 22 attacker that does not die. Whereas Undead Dragon, it goes away after you swing with it, but it's a really big swing. So maybe he's just running it as the 1 copy to save it for a major push. And then Franger is Franger. And his first grade ones, he's running no copies of Evil Shade and only 1 of the Ghosty. Instead, he's maxing out on Night Greer and his ability to get a 1 mil, which helps in early game. And then later on, he's just an 18k attacker or booster, which can also be abused. And then lastly, we've got Dimension Police. So, if I'm correct, he's running, let's see, yeah, you can't really tell by the glare, but this deck is also max rarity. So he's got his 4 Dayusha, 4 Great Dayusha, and 1 of the grade 3 that were, if it's on Rearguard and your Vanguard's power is, I think, 35k or more, he gets a bonus 5 and a crit. Yeah, I think that's his name. So there's no of that rare grade 3 with the gift ability. Like, I forget what his name is, or her name is, but you probably know which one I'm talking about. So none of that. 3-die Mariner and only 2 Laurel. People have told me, or I've not told me, but I've overheard people say that Laurel at like maximum copies isn't as good as they thought it would be. And Die Mariner is kind of really good for protect matchups and okay in other ones. What else is there like to really pick out? Like I have not really given 2 shits about the Dimension Police out of the set, so it's like I'm sure like different fights looking over this with a fine-tooth comb and determining what he likes and doesn't like out of this, and maybe he'll do something, make a video regarding it. Who knows? But in any case, yeah, it's a standard-looking DP list. The consensus I've heard from a couple people in testing the deck is that, not already mentioned, it's a bit on the high rolly side. Not resolving Great Dayusha can be a problem, but then again, in playing Grand Blue, I've also noticed not getting to Baskirk is also kind of an awful time. Like, you need to be on this guy as much as possible. So I guess you can argue the Grand Blue's also high rolly in that aspect. Yeah, still kind of surprising that Aquaforce wasn't able to make an impact despite their numbers, and that Kagero was played at such low numbers. Like, that's just surprising given how popular the clan is in general. But maybe the next tournament we'll see different things. But yeah, these are just some good, like, rough starting ideas for how these decks are being played. I'll give the Grand Blue list a shot sometime, that much I can be certain of. And I'm sure DP diehards have already picked this deck apart and whether or not they like it or not. So, that's all for now. Again, I'll link to this below so you can analyze, take a look over these stuff, and I'll also link to my review of episode 12 as I've been doing with all these videos. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this. Until next time, this is Blue Star 899, jacking up.